Hi, welcome. I'm going to on this video I'm going to be discussing the issue of using treats on the track for a tracking dog or in training with the service dog. Why that presents a problem for training the service dog. I'm going to show here very clearly, and this photo image is from my book called Going the Ground. The methodology of police dog training, and this is going to illustrate or help to give you a little visual here of the problem with using treats on during tracking, how that can actually cause a problem and how it's established as a secondary or a scent that's associated with the track itself. And why treats should never be used based on what I'm going to show you here now with training the service dog for tracking. A lot of people think that you can put the treat down on the track and then just remove it, and it won't be a problem. That once it's done what it's meant to do, then you're good to go, so to speak. But here what I'm going to show you is it's different in the way that how a treat becomes part of the scent picture for the dog, because it's reinforced through conditioning, it becomes part of the dog's psyche, so to speak. It's linked in, it's connected. It's a dot that connects to the track because it's directly linked to the track, associated to the track by way of laying it on the track, so it becomes connected that way. So it becomes part of the scent picture. So although it will fade into the background, it still remains there, and it can be a problem. And here I'm going to show you exactly why. Here in this photo, what I show here is I'm showing the kind of track picture. Okay, so kind of picture this is kind of train tracks that are kind of laid down on the track here, with the first one here being the vegetative scent, as you can see on the bottom here. So what you have here is a couple scent pictures going on when you're training the service dog that become established primary and secondary scent. And so with the primary scent, the one that we're having the dogs invest their nose in, align with, and invest in, is the human scent itself. So the dog, that scent picture becomes reinforced. It becomes a primary scent with training, with how it's reinforced. Becomes kind of like the standard. But what happens though, another scent picture will start to become established here as we're training the service dog for the true tracking standard. We are having a dog, the vegetative scent. Now this is another scent picture that happens because as the person's walking along the grass, the scent there's a breakdown that happens, so the dog can actually pick up on and establish that the vegetative scent there's a breakdown. So he starts to establish that becomes a secondary scent. This disturbed vegetative scent becomes a secondary scent. And so what will happen is during tracking is if the dog is tracking and for different reasons, environmental reasons, the primary scent, the human scent, becomes starts to dissipate, starts to leave. The dog will switch over to it's kind of like switching train tracks, so to speak. The dog will switch over and begin to follow the secondary scent. And a lot of times this will happen. If you're watching your dog closely, you may see a difference in how the dog tracks. And so you'll say, well, it's clear the dog is switching over a little bit, following a different scent, because the vegetative scent will last longer than the human scent, the primary scent picture, the human scent. And so that does create a advantage, but again, you won't always know. But that's part of that happens through the training process. But the other issue, there's another scent picture that will happen. I didn't show it right on here directly, but I talk about it here in my article. But is another secondary or associative scent that'll happen. And it's like another train track by using treats as the dog's following. Now the whole thing is we're using treats to reinforce as a motivating agent, but because it's directly established with the track, it becomes another scent picture. Okay, whether trainers or handlers realize it or not. This is information here. I mean, I'm talking about something that a lot of trainers don't understand fully, but I'm showing here that it clearly is, there can be a problem, and it should never be used. Based on this information, treats should never be used to train a service dog, period. Because what can happen is, because even though it's removed and it will fade into the background a little bit, it still remains part of the dog within the dog's psyche. Now we'll go down here a little bit, and I'm going to show you the part of the article here, just to go through some points. And here I talk about the cross track itself, how that kind of plays when you're doing training. The problem here with using treats, or as opposed to say a cross track where another scent's going across the track, we're applying a negative to that. If we're training a dog to ignore another scent, then we'll put a negative to that, so the dog will reinvest their nose and go towards the primary scent. But what I show here as with the treats, it's not like that. It's actually, here I show it's actually, I say purposely reinforced. Okay, which means that we're actually putting treats down the track, and we're reinforcing. It's a motivating agent, so there's no negative to it. It's actually established through conditioning. So it's connected to both the task and the primary scent. So it's connected to the track, to the primary scent. So it aligns that way and becomes another track picture, basically, part of the track picture for the dog. So it's in the psyche of the dog. Now, right here, show it, and I write about it here, about it becoming part of the scent picture. But that's the thing to understand. It's by removing them, and I'll talk about this too here, about the whole thing about, we're going to talk about this in a second, about the whole issue about how when a dog, through the relationship itself, this whole issue of influence through the roles themselves, is that what'll happen here too, and why it'll become more of a problem for some dog teams and not others, is the amount of influence that's going on through the role itself. So, for example, if a dog has gained power and influence through the lead role, what happens is the dog's mind will lose focus at a higher level. Okay, so what will happen is, for example, if you're tracking, say, and this is where it can be a problem, if you're tracking in a urban setting, and the dog has a certain level of influence or power established because the dog has too much of influence through the lead role, that's when the wheels will come off the train, so to speak. Dog's mind can separate onto food and lose focus on the scent picture, because what happens is the mind is going to separate. So here, that's the whole thing about understanding the dog's mind, how it'll veer off. But anyway, this is very important for people to get. This information is critical. It's part of my book, Going the Ground, and it's very, very critical information here. That treats are never to be used. But people will say, well, Dale, what if I don't use a treat, what should I use? Okay, and I'll tell you what you should use here is you should be using the tug. You talk about what motivating agent to use. You should be using the tug toy, and that's why, because it's different. It's not the tug itself. Here, I'll show you. Here we go. Here's another. I'll show you this example here, how this works. Here's a tug reward. Here's a picture of a canine officer, and I lay this out in my book too, how all these dynamics play off each other with impacting the dog's mind and with scent. And I guarantee you, this book that I've written it's going to be very insightful. You're not going to see information like this in any other manual or guide. I really clear up a lot of these issues and connect the dots for people here. But yeah, what you want to use is here, tug reward. You can't quite see it on this guy. I assume it's there somewhere. It's probably in his back pocket or somewhere in one of his pockets. But what the tug is, it's more indirect. Okay, it's established to the handler, but the dog in the dog's mind says, well, if I do this, I'll get that. Okay, so but it's reinforced at a high level, and that's what just like tracking, that's what you use. You know, the problem is with using and here in this thing here with narcotics, it's the same thing. If you use treats in a direct way to train the service dog with narcotic detection, again, that can be established as part of the scent picture. That'll be in the psyche of the dog, because it's too direct. So never use treats, and this is the thing: don't use treats in narcotic training, and do not use them for tracking. Here, what can happen is a false alert can take place. A dog will be doing a search, and because you're using treats to reinforce, it becomes part of the scent picture. It's in the dog's mind, and if there's food in the room or somewhere, the dog could indicate on the food instead of on the narcotic scent. So here, the reward system or the motivating agent is the tug itself. It's associated through the handler. It's reinforced, but it doesn't present that same issue and problem. So here, it's all about understanding, how to connect the right dots. These dots all connect this way. So again, it's really important to understand how a dog's mind is governed and influenced through the pack relationship. So again, very, very critical that people understand, because again, it'll affect what happens on the street, and then it can affect what happens in the courtroom too. A defense lawyer can actually challenge this through this issue with using treats. So yeah, the motivating agent to use is the bite work, is the tug game. That's what should be used to prevent this issue. So again, thanks very much for watching my video, and I hope you have a great day.